We have before us an agenda, so I would like to, under items of note C, health insurance. Just FYI, maybe a little discussion for us. Other than that,
I kind of under B, Gray Owl. LLC.
underwear.
2B, Gray Owl Tool LLC.
Oh, sure.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the additions.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion's approved. County Attorney General discussion.
Okay. Consideration of participating in master matrix. What did you want to ask?
Well, I don't know about the rest of everybody, but I think we've been possibly doing it wrong for as long as I've been on the board. It seems after you go and start reading the code that it's kind of mandated that the Board of Supervisors have a little bit of, so to speak, oversight in the whole review, I guess is what I'm saying, before it goes on to the DNR, because if we send it to the DNR, what I understood was, then they don't look at it either. They will just automatically issue the permit.
I don't think that's true.
Well,
If we recommend to approve, they don't review the matrix.
Are you sure?
Yes, I talked to Cindy Garcia.
Okay, because I talked to Cindy Garcia and that wasn't the impression I got.
Okay.
I just want to read you a quick memo.
Okay.
sure.
She called me yesterday and I just did a quick memo so I wouldn't forget anything. It says on February 6, 2017, I received a call from Cindy Garza. I've got her number, she's with the DNR. Right now, Mitchell County has several options. We can just tell the DNR we want our name, Mitchell County, removed from everything, and the DNR would score it themselves. Then it would be out of our hands. Number two, we could request a 30-day extension. This would give us more time to work with the applicant on the application. Now the complications. Apparently there is a key, I didn't catch his last name,
Crouch.
okay, involved with whom she was discussing this with. He decided to go on vacation today and simply not address the issue, because really the 30-day request is supposed to come from him. And she said, well, since he's not around to request the 30 days, you know, and we, the DNR really can't do it on our own because that's considered just delaying it, and they don't want that to happen. She wanted to talk to him, but he's supposed to request the extension, but she can't get a hold of him. She said that the county could make a decision to request the 30 days extension. So I went ahead and requested the 30-day extension. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. During those 30 days, if the board wants to, it can simply state, DNR, you go ahead and decide we're not taking any position. And then the DNR will score the matrix on their own.
And I talked to Cindy on Friday, and she said that we could do negotiations with them. So I would propose, I would volunteer to have a conference call. Brenda and I talked about that after the extension was granted, that we could then talk to them about the specific issues brought up and what the parameters would be.
Okay, and that would be with that Keith?
Yes, Keith Kratchmer,
Okay.
the compliance officer for
Okay.
Iowa
Yeah, I
State.
see he's on this email,
Yes.
Keith Kratchmer. So she said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to request it or not? And I said, well, I really can't call up the Board of Supervisors each one and ask them, because then that's the same thing as having a meeting. She said, well, I need to know now. And I said, well, I'm requesting it then. So,
So then you basically say you want to be out of the,
No,
What's
we
that?
stay in the matrix.
huh?
I would propose we stay in the matrix. I have this plan of kind of addressing what was talked about at the last meeting. Of kind of, we would make a procedure of how we notify the public, and then, that's what you've seen from the article. How we would notify the public for public, and have a week before, have a preview discussion meeting regarding the matrix. And it would be the supervisor that, whose district the hog facility and the confinement facility would go into, would meet with them the week before the hearing, so we could hash out any problems. And that would make it better, like, in my district, Stan goes out and does the audit or the review, so then he wouldn't be sitting in on that. I would be like the week before, if it's my district, working with the producer and the public, before the public hearing to triage the plan. And we could maybe have issues come out ahead of time, so they could address them, and we could make everything better for the public hearing, and then, the person that goes out to the site would have no privy to what was the discussion beforehand. Also, we would, in the procedures with the notification of the public, make a list of, okay, so many, periodic means, they will do this every 2 to 3 months. What those kind of non-specific words that were used that they had issues with, we could specify. Cindy said, we can make an addendum or a procedure plan that says, when we get a matrix, you say periodic, that means every 2 to 3 months you will do it. It doesn't just leave it wide open, because they could say semi-annual or annual, 6 months, 12 months, but if they say periodic, it's kind of like, oh, we'll do it sometimes. So she said, anything that was on the list that considered to be wishy-washy or non-specific, the county can make their own list of what those definitions are, kind of a glossary of terms like the code does, this means this. And then like the filter thing, if we say they're gonna have a filter, we can say we want a biofilter. And that would be our definition of a filter. So that would be our procedure that would go with the matrix reviews. If they say filter, this is what it means in Mitchell County. If they say windbreak, this is what it means in Mitchell County. And we would all agree upon that. We just have to let all the producers know going forward, that's what, if they say that in their plan, that's what they mean. I myself have contacted a hog producer in my district to be my technical assistant. I kind of assumed I knew who your hog producer was gonna be for technical assistant, so I had another one that I talked to. And I thought with the definitions and with the help of Farm Bureau as well, we can hash out what acceptable parameters are for definitions. And just make it, there's nothing gonna be a generic term that's not specified. If they say this term, we should have a definition to it for clarification. And then this sheet is, I just proposed that we would have the workshop time. When we do the public hearing, we'd also notify the producer, the compliance officer, specifically by phone or email, whatever contact they gave us. So they know when the public hearing is and when the workshop time is. And then it would be the WEN system, we can do a geographical alert. So we can go from the site, we can go 3 miles radius and send that alert out to everyone in that area. I told them how to get on WENS. If they don't sign up for WENS, it will be in the paper. But if they want to get an alert on their phone that there's somebody's gonna be building within 3 miles radius of their home, they need to sign up for the WENS system. And they will be notified when the workshop time is and when the public hearing is. So the people in that area will be notified. And then I would like to put our public website, we can put links to, we can have all the public notice, public hearings just put there. So they can either go to the website, check every week, know what's covered up. They can look in the paper, and if it's in their neighborhood, they will get an alert in the WEN system or read the paper. So my article I put, it's a teachable moment. We've learned a really good lesson from that ISAC webinar. I learned so much, and I watched it mid-January, it was December. So I did feel that we need to take much more ownership of the process. I think it's a good thing because the county has to have input, but there are responsibilities, and I think from here forward, we can do the right thing by the notifications and then getting the definitions hashed out and what's what agreeable with the gray owl and us, what we think is good parameters. We can start with them, find out what they think, and then I'll talk to my technical assistant person in Farm Bureau and get something that says, in the beginning of every code section, it says a definition of this means this. When we talk about this, it means this. And so a lot of counties, she said, do that. I asked her to give me some examples.
That's what I was gonna say.
I emailed her and said, if you've got privy to some of this stuff. I went to websites and a lot of it, some places, Mark's here, some places put this under the auspices of the Board of Health or the Planning and Zoning. And it's just, they don't have it necessarily on their website, all the parameters, they just say contact planning and zoning. So I couldn't find the actual definitions, but I asked Cindy if she had access to them to give them to us. But my proposal would be to do a phone conference with Gray Owl Farms and their compliance officer to find out, what do you mean by this? And get it hashed out. We let the people that did the report and the review their concerns, we would let them know this is what it meant, and this is what we're accepting from them, because we're in the negotiation phase, is what Cindy said, so that's why she was willing to give us a 30-day. She would rather not override the county's recommendation, even if we felt we did it erroneously. She said the points were still there, the papers we didn't see in the matrix, but the points are valid, that periodic really is, you know,
So what were the papers that we didn't see?
I don't have the matrix. Oh, they're right there.
They were part of it.
They were in there, they were back in the attachments. There's like 12. Oh, here, it's not in order. No, this is their sheet of what they had
Right.
issues with, and then I had it flagged. Within the document, it just said, information, but it didn't say like see attachment, but I had it flagged, it said here they are. It's 4 individual sheets of paper.
So basically what you're saying then, when we stay in the matrix, this will still come to
There.
your whoever,
It would still come the auditor, we would just have a work group ahead of time, a week before the public hearing, following the board meeting on that Tuesday. So like if we had a public hearing next Tuesday, then after this meeting, whoever's district the hog facility is in would stay after the board meeting and meet with the public and the producer and the compliance officer of that application. And we'd go through it, and if there was any concerns, we'd talk about it ahead of time. Maybe get it figured out, get it taken care of, and then the public hearing would be the next Tuesday.
Just from a matter of practicality, you're really gonna have to move. Because once the application is filed with the DNR, you've got 30 days.
Right.
That's it, 30 days, it's not.
Right, and the
30.
public hearing gets noticed, and I would
Yeah.
propose that the Lowell and I would work together when we have a public hearing, the Wednesday takes 5 minutes to get out there, and 2 phone calls or an email. We would just notify the geographical area and the producers.
And I don't like to use the word public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry, hearing, it's a hearing to
Yes.
get comments, right, it's not a public hearing, it's a hearing.
It's not even to get comments, it's to receive written comments.
right, and
You do not, you can if you want to, but you do not have to
you
let the
need
public.
public notice.
Yeah.
Right, and you do not, it's not a public hearing, you do not need to let people talk at your hearing. You can if you want to, but the code does not.
And that's
They
what-
can submit written, they can submit as many written comments as they want.
So if the week before would be the time in that workshop time to have a discussion and a dialogue, and maybe take care of some issues that come up.
Yeah.
So it'd be you, some
It's-
technical advisor, and
It would be us and the public that shows up, and the producer and the compliance officer would be there.
I talked to Mark Ross a little bit yesterday about planning and zoning.
Right.
You said that some counties planning and zoning actually look over these matrices.
Some of them have a board that they appoint to help.
They
them.
review them, yeah. Some of them have a commission that, just like she was talking about, have a commission that gets together and then reviews.
Right.
But, and some of them have a sanitarian that goes out with the DNR when they do the inspection. If we request that, the DNR will take the sanitarian along to do the inspection, just to
Instead of the
make
board
sure
supervisor.
everything is up to what they're stating on the forms.
And as far as the board of supervisors, primarily they're in my district, so I'm speaking for my time, because I don't go on the reviews, but a lot of them are on the east side of the county, so that would mean that I would have to commit my time to do this. If Stan has a one coming in his area, he would have to be willing to talk with, if Mark wants to get involved. I think the supervisor in that area should be involved as well, but then we don't go on the review of the site, because we flip-flop the reviews. So that would kind of get us in the process of understanding what's going on in our area as well. Just some things to think about. I had put that I proposed to do a resolution on it, but we could just, from what Cindy said, just have it be our policy. We're gonna have the definitions spelled out, and then we're gonna do this little process of notification.
But these come along so seldom. I mean, it's not like there's 20 of them a year or anything like
The
that.
thing is, if we did definitions, the renewals, I have to talk to Cindy, but I would think the renewals would possibly have to get up to that point, or if we can just put like grandfather everyone in, doesn't have to come up to the new definitions. Like if we say we want a windbreak, which is what a lot of them do, is, you know, fast growing plants and slow growing, fast growing trees and slow growing trees, like 3 rows is what I read last night. We could grandfather the current producers in, that they don't have to come back up, you know. We don't want to have everybody have to start doing that, or we could say we would like them to do that, but work it in a certain time frame. That would help smell.
So you're gonna require biofilters?
No. I don't know, that's what you talked about. Biofilters are cool, but from my knowledge of hog buildings, what does that do with their ventilation system? How does that affect, you know, the process? I need a TA person.
Just a point of information, I listened to that webinar, and biofilters are one of the things that a producer can install to get points on the matrix.
Right.
So it's not required. I think Minnesota requires them, Iowa doesn't, but it's part of, they could choose to do it.
Or we can choose to say, when they say they're gonna have a filter, that it shall be a biofilter.
Because, as the webinar said, they could put a furnace filter in and said, oh, I've got a filter, which
Right.
wouldn't do anything. So it doesn't require any producer to put in a filter. It just says, if they say they're gonna do a biofilter, or a filter, you can specify what kind of filter,
Yes.
but they don't have to do it.
Right.
But you're going back, you're saying that the county can specify that.
We can. If they say they're gonna use a filter, we would prefer they do this, but from my understanding with with Sonberg's, you know, they use it for water and stuff, I'm just not sure what it's gonna affect the ventilation. That's why I would need to have a producer, the Farm Bureau, give us feedback. Is it gonna be detrimental to, you know, the producer? So there's things that you can request, but there might be some,
Well, how does
trade-offs.
Minnesota doesn't, not everyone.
I don't know.
Well, then the technology's there.
Right,
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah.
Because that's what they
Not like
had.
it's rocket
Yeah,
science.
one county, the presentation, it looked interesting, I'm just not sure how it would work out, if it's something we want to require, but that'd be a work in process for the definitions. So that's my proposal.
Shannon, could you also include soil and water and NRCS on that committee?
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you,
just you get notification that we're having it.
thank you.
Good.
That's my proposal, then we would notify everyone that could possibly be affected, and then we wouldn't have so much, because I think we gotta get really serious about it. The gentleman in the back has a question.
State your name and
foggy out, so,
What's your name?
my name's Chris Peterson, I'm farm south of Quail Lake,
Okay.
and we've had our problems in our county, and I guess, I don't know the whole discussion here, but supervisors and county government, they really need to go through this stuff with a microscope, because who you are representing are your local constituents, okay? And everybody has the right to do what they want on their property until it starts to affect the neighbors, starting with public health, you know, quality of life and everything else. So I would encourage you to really look at these things. And number 2, the matrix, it's kind of rope for the industry over the years, and it's a partial failure. But point being, it's the only tool in the toolbox for the supervisors and for the local constituents to have any sort of discussion on it. And as you know, most of these things are overruled in Des Moines. And so I think change is underway, and I think a major change that needs to be made. However it goes, either local control or revision, revising the matrix so it actually works, the scoring system. You know,
We know it needs to be fixed.
yeah, you got a large issue here and a problem, so thank you, first of all, for talking about it.
thanks.
Beth
Thanks
had
for
a
your
comment.
My name is Beth Rahoot, and I do Three Rivers Ag Consulting, so I do work with customers for manure management plans and master matrices and such, and I'm also a farmer as well. I've gone to several other counties when they've done master matrix hearings or just discussion of manure management plans. And I do know that there is some training available from DNR. Now, whether or not you do use the master matrix, one time a year or whatever, I believe that training is probably beneficial. You will learn something, you'll understand it better. If the ball's in your court, then you might as well understand it.
Right. And I'll send you the link to the ISAC one webinar, because Jean Tinker is the one that gave our presentation. It's about an hour
Well,
long.
and it's an hour long, okay, and
It
maybe
was
that,
very good, and
and it was the master matrix?
it was specifically about the master matrix. It's very informative, and that opened my eyes too, that we really need to look at it and school, check their scores, not just say they have 440 minimum and pass it through. We gotta look and see they really earn those points.
There might be one for just manure management plans as well,
Good,
so
thank
you might want to look into that, or you can have them come and speak.
Could I just,
You ain't gonna read all that?
no, I'm not gonna.
you. No, that's my handout.
This is her handout.
All right.
I just want to
Did that
thank,
get passed around?
oh, yeah, I did, I passed it around. I want to thank Shannon for putting this together, and maybe you can answer this too. When I was looking at manure management plans maybe 8 years ago, I would discover occasionally one field that's listed in 3 different plans. Now, I don't know if there was over-application manure or not going on, but, so I just asked the question, does anyone ever look to see? And the answer I got back was no, no one at the DNR does know. And I know nobody wants to over-apply manure, but, it does, can it be that one field is listed in 3 different plans, and can it be that there's over-application of manure that happens? That was just a question I asked, and people said, well, farmers aren't gonna do that. And I said, well, I mean, I'd like to believe that, but I know if you have a lagoon full of manure and you gotta get rid of it, then you gotta get rid of it.
Yeah, you can have your field in several different plans, and that is legal. They are required to keep records, and those records have to be available to the DNR whenever they want to see them. So whether or not it's over application, I guess, is up to those records. It can happen. We know that it can happen, but hopefully it doesn't happen very often.
And I have a policy to monitor that, and you can do an Excel spreadsheet, and we can just put the name of the matrix and the fields that are listed in that matrix, and then we can just do a search. And it should be able to search and bring up if that field is listed in multiple matrices. Because it says the section and everything on there, so if we put the section description, we should be able to do a search. If we enter all of them, we can do a search, and if it comes up, there's 6 fields, we know, or 6 plans that have it, we know that that field should probably get checked occasionally, the records,
Well, why would you over-apply?
to get rid of it.
Well,
Because you got rid of it.
But it's not benefiting the farmer, but it's just a place to get rid of it. I mean, the extra doesn't make any difference in the field, you can only get so much. Kevin, I'm looking at you, and, it doesn't make sense to put a whole lot of extra unless just to get rid of
You're
it.
wasting valuable fertilizer.
Right.
The manure is valuable fertilizer.
It's a product you can sell.
You better
So-
call on your neighbor and see if he's got a field you can borrow.
Yeah, or you just gotta add
Offer
it
it
to
to
the
us
plan.
for so much a
You know.
ton, we can make money off of it. So.
So,
But that would be my proposal, Penny, is that we could make a Excel spreadsheet that it would be easily accessible to find out a field being.
That would, because nobody was doing, the DNR said they don't check either, they don't have the staff to do it, so it's kind of on the counties to, because you're the ones that's gotta protect the water and quality in your county, and
So that's not a problem, I'm trying to think of a solution, so that would be my
so what do
proposal.
the counties do that, in white, that do not participate in the master matrix?
The DNR reviews.
There's this instruction here.
And is that,
Then we have no say.
I don't think then they,
we got any say either?
you just have to use it.
Theoretically, we did, we had a say to say it was okay, we just didn't understand how to have a different say and render an opinion. We haven't exercised our right to have a say.
Because in that article that was in the paper, that evidently talked to you, this said the people that did, the counties that did not participate in the matrix actually could have a more stringent requirements than what was actually in the master matrix.
that's not true. That I know is not
That wasn't true. So who wrote this?
That came from the Des Moines, that information.
Okay, so not everything you read in the paper is true.
And with their, because they have, they have cutbacks in their staff, they can only do so much.
Okay, so what's the?
I read it somewhere, but I can't find it right now. I think if we don't adopt that master matrix, nothing ever comes to you guys. I think it just
No.
goes.
Right,
Goes
it's
right to the
pushed right
DNR.
on through to them.
It goes right to the DNR, and then the DNR does their own review of the matrix.
Just like you mentioned that they don't have time, so you know about how much review that's gonna require. I guess my feeling is right now, I feel that this board needs to be reviewed, you know, kinda, like as Shannon has said, and go on from there. And I like the idea of the commission actually sitting down with this matrix, and going through it, and seeing that everything is
And I
scored
think if
correctly.
Penny would, I'm sure Penny will come to most of the meetings, so.
Try.
And if we have the producer and the compliance officer, I think it would really help a lot. And we get those definitions in a procedure handbook. It's gonna,
And if I was a producer, I'd want to be, you know, good neighbor to everybody, and
I think they try their best, but, you know, periodic, if things get crazy, something can slip, and then there's no accountability, because it just says periodic, so. But if periodic means at least every 3 months, then they're gonna know to do it.
so what's our plan of action you need for us today?
We don't need to do anything today.
Okay,
We've already had the hearing,
right,
so now you're back to looking at the matrix. If you think revisions need to be made, talking with that Keith and getting them to revise it, like that. Cindy said, like you said, the big word she doesn't like is periodic. Take out periodic and say every 3 months, or every 6 months, or how often you're going to do it. And I'm sure if we talked to Cindy, she'd say, okay, I don't like this, or I don't like this, or I don't like, she'd be more than willing to give us saying, okay, get the producer to fix this, get the producer to fix this, get the producer to fix this. And then within 30 days, we have to resubmit our recommendation to the DNR. Okay, here's the new revised matrix, yes, we think we should approve it, no, we don't think we should.
So she said we're in negotiation stage. I would like to motion have permit, or from the board that I can, Brenda and I, and possibly Mark could meet with, or do a phone conference with Gray Owl to get the definitions once, so that we can negotiate.
you agree with that, Mark? You want to, can you sit in on these things too?
Like a phone conference, if
talk
I
to
can
me,
come over to your
yes.
office sometime. and
Yeah,
just-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yours, right.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Ross.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up to you, Mark or Mark Ross. I mean, I just think we need to have, if we're negotiating, I don't think we need to have a full board there, but since this one is in my district, I volunteer to be.
But I'd like to see
guinea pig.
some of the changes that you.
Yes, because we would have to bring it back here and say, these are the changes, and then the board would have to do a recommendation for approval or disapproval.
Okay.
It would be like a workshop, but we're negotiating instead of a workshop.
So I'll put that in form of a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to give Supervisor Paulus the authority to do negotiations with Gray Owl LLC too, and by conference call with Mark Walk in attendance, or his alternate.
Or did you?
Mark Walk or his alternate.
Oh, okay.
Is there a second to that motion? I'll second the motion. We have a motion and a second to approve just what Shannon, did you get that down? Or want to read it back, or?
I can't say it again.
Authorization for Paulus to do negotiations with Gray Owl and be also with Brenda Dreyer and Mark Ross. And
Or his,
Oh,
Mark
alternate.
Walk or his alternate. So if Mark has a conflict, Mark Ross can say another, or whoever you'd like to, Aaron. I
Okay,
just don't want to speak for the county alone.
any further discussion?
Yeah. Has Gray Owl met the requirements of the matrix?
Talking to Cindy, she said that she doesn't like the periodic comments.
That isn't what I asked. They meet the requirements of the matrix.
It says submit a plan.
Pardon?
It just says submit a plan, so she said that the points were valid, that maybe you need to specify, she doesn't like the word periodic, she doesn't like all that, she would
But
like
they
more
met,
specific.
they met the matrix.
She didn't say she would deny or approve it. At this point, she doesn't want O'Reilly County, so she wouldn't give an opinion on that.
That's what she said to me, because I asked her the same thing, do they need the matrix? I won't give you a determination until the board has made their recommendation for approval or denial. I said, well, just tell me, is the matrix, I won't tell you, she said. So, what I'm saying is, in the DNR's opinion that the matrix has been met, they have not made a determination of whether the matrix has been met. Whether the application meets it, that I can't answer, but from what I've seen, what they provided, the matrix meets the 440 points. But I'm not saying the matrix is completely correct, because I know, as Shannon said, they don't like the word periodic. And they might deny it just on that, so you don't know.
She
They
won't
might
go
say
on
you
record.
don't get these points, if you were to use the word every other month or 6 times a year, that would have been good, since you used the word periodic. And I might be completely wrong. She may say, yes, it passes, or she might say, no, it doesn't.
They don't want the fluffy words. They want something that if they go out and check, they can say yes or no. You're doing it when you said you would. You're really following your matrix.
Okay,
Thank you for the clarification.
get motion in a second, take roll call, vote, Paulus.
Aye.
Bocander, aye. Walk.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Okay. Now on item B, Greg.
That was it.
That was it, all right.
We did both of them together.
I gave everybody a contract for law enforcement services. I'd given it to Sheriff Peter before for his review. He thought it looked okay. Just want, before we mail these out, I want the board of supervisors just to look at it, see if they've got any problems with them, or if they think they're okay. Pretty straightforward. I've got a check here for $50 payable to Mitchell County. This had to do on that Wayland Street matter vacation. So that's for the publication. I don't know if you guys received an email on it or not, but pursuant, to that discussion we had a couple of years ago about approving raises or not approving raises, does the board have to have a separate meeting? There's now a resolution required, so sometime you guys are gonna have your meeting before the budget hearing, decide on what you're going to do on proposed increases. And then I've got the paperwork here to fill everything out, to do the resolution. So just let me know.
Next week. Along with it next week.
You want to send him the sample resolutions?
What's that?
Does he have the resolutions so you can?
Just roll. If you want to just write it in, I can type it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just bring them over there.
Okay. Well, we won't know until next week, so.
All right, I get you.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Well, back to the pay thing, or excuse me, the law enforcement thing. It's my understanding that the mayor of Riceville wants to come, and so is he wanting to try to renegotiate this, or what is the purpose of?
The 21st, he's coming before before the assessors meeting.
I thought he'd get away with
14th, okay, just let him know, all right? He just said that, since they have full coverage from Worth County, when he spoke to me, is that they are kind of just doing a good faith payment based at the $7 rate, so they weren't sure, they budgeted the $7. Worth County actually covers it, so.
Howard County.
Howard County. Yeah, Howard County.
the contract, Howard County, I think he said $55,000 a year.
They may not be able to pay that much, but they would
They're
still,
paying Howard County how much?
55,000.
to be the city.
50 or 55, I thought I heard 55. And then.
And they can get it from Mitchell County at,
Well, no, see, a lot of some of the residents in Howard County really don't want the Mitchell County people taken care of. They want Howard County taken care of. According to, I told Dean, I said, well, we'll just annex you into the Mitchell County all the time. Oh, no, we can't do that, you know.
so you think $55,000 is reasonable? I'm just
What
asking.
is that?
Do I think that?
No, Mitchell, the city of Riceville, what's that come out per person?
It's a whole lot more than what we're wanting.
300
I think there's 300 on the Howard side and
It's
Riceville.
over 100.
Is that 100?
But what's the whole Riceville, because they actually
100.
cover the Mitchell County side, they cover the whole town.
Yeah. Which makes no sense. I told them they can't do that.
It's not their jurisdiction.
And then the problem is.
But if
with
they're
the city-
contracted, then it is, isn't it?
Do you think that I want to deal with the sheriff's department over in Cresco, getting reports from them, having them come over here to give depositions, having them come over here? It's like pulling teeth. Do you think those officers want to drive 55 miles, however far it is, to come over here and meet with us to discuss something?
They get $55,000 though. They
Well,
should be happy.
I guess it was offered to our county sheriff to do that, but he didn't.
We offered to do it.
Well,
No, Bieber said no. You're correct.
Yeah, because
Because
those,
it makes no sense. It makes no sense for Howard County to say they have, their sheriff's department say they have jurisdiction in Mitchell County. That's why we didn't go into Howard County. We just said that makes no sense. Beaver didn't want the same thing. Beaver didn't want to be sending his guys over to Cresco for depositions, for statements, transporting prisoners, all that stuff.
It's just if they're like your pursuit, they can go there, they have jurisdiction in the process of a pursuit, but they can't just go over and dog catch. We should annex them.
What?
well, anyway, Dean's coming next week. He said, we'll verify that, but he's gonna come at the same time you're here and Greg's here, and we can talk about how we wanna proceed.
The 14th now instead of the 21st.
Well, I thought it was always the 14th. He said 2 weeks.
Well, Greg didn't think, knew he wasn't gonna be here, he didn't think he'd be
Oh,
available.
Greg's not gonna be here?
He wasn't here this week, he didn't think he'd be available next week, so we said just do it before the assessor's public hearing,
All right, 21st then, I guess.
is what it tentatively was down last.
Well, I wouldn't send these out until we have the meeting.
No, we're not going to.
Right.
We're not going to, no. Because I've given it to Beaver for his review, but I haven't said, I'm not going to send them out until everybody approves them, no.
So
No,
this is
but I
still
mean,
draft.
regardless, I mean, if Raceville wants to come in and talk to us about this, I sure don't want to send them out and then,
They will not be sent out until the board approves them. That's why I gave them to you guys.
Another quick question. Who, you see in the claims, you know, where they're putting together a grand jury, you know, who requests that? That needs to be,
By code,
I mean, I'm just, that's just
Yeah.
a
It's-
question.
the code says every year in January, we have to impanel a grand jury.
Oh.
That's statutory. Now, it used to be that they actually came in, they got sworn in, then they had to inspect the jail, then they had to inspect the county home, and we've just, the judge a few years ago issued an order saying this is all a waste of time for everybody because we haven't used a grand jury. I've used one once since I've been here.
So they're PRN. You
Yeah.
you get them and then
Yeah.
in case you need them, you know who they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that most people don't know. Those people that are on the grand jury are the most powerful people in the county. If they want to come in and do an investigation on something, saying we think this person is stealing county money, they've got the authority to go in and subpoena people, bring them in, and these people, even if they don't want to testify, they have to. That's why grand jury proceedings are never disclosed. They can hire investigators. They've got a lot of power if they want to use it.
Do they change every year or can?
They change every year.
So they can't have the same people like qualified?
That's correct. They get drawn every year.
Okay, well, I was just curious, I just have.
Yeah, it's by law. They have to swear,
Okay, makes
do them
sense.
in January. It
so
used to
just
be a
to,
big deal.
Interesting.
just to follow up on that then. So let's say one member of the grand jury thinks there's a bugaboo does he just ask the rest, let's get together, or how does that, or does it have to go to like, I mean, how
They've
does
got
that?
more power than I do. They could override me.
No, but I mean, how does one person on the grand jury?
They go to the other ones and talk to them.
And that's all they'd have to do is just ask the others, let's get together, and if there's a majority of 7 of us.
I don't even know if they.
Then do
need
they go to the
majority.
judge and the judge orders?
They come to
everything?
me,
Okay.
and they would say, Mark, we want subpoenas for this, this, this. And I do them. I don't think I have any choice.
So is there a big training they go through once they're picked, or
No.
they don't?
Sorry, I got that.
Things you didn't know, that you wish you did.
We'll have an interesting conversation next week at the bus park.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't be spreading that around.
I see that. Ron Wallace,
I know.
goes on.
No,
Well, you can get in trouble if you just really
Can't be.
Well, let's move on. Item 3 is the industrial pretreatment odor control project update. And I guess Tom's not gonna be here. But anyway, I think it's almost done, correct, Gary?
I guess there's a few issues with one of the machines.
Well, yeah, Mark ran off. But anyway, I was out there yesterday, and what Taylor told me is that they can't process 2 tanks which are almost full because they're too high in pH.
Oh, right, he told us that last week, they had to do something to get pH down.
Well, how are you gonna get these aerator things stuck in there? If you can't process the stuff, and you can't get the tanks drained down. You gotta shut down the whole process just to do that. I mean, I was pushing Tom when I've been here. On the county side of things, we still have the $1.3 million. We have not heard whether or not they wanna pay it or not. We have to make a decision before January 29th, because that's when it's due back in the bank. Either that or we're gonna have to extend our loan.
We just send him a bill and tell him what to do by,
Dale is pushing it, I gotta talk to this person or that person.
oh, we do
I
the
think it's-
23rd, and if we don't do it, we can do action on the 24th.
Yeah, I think our loan for citizens is in July.
July 29th.
Yeah. I checked on it
Oh,
last week.
July 29th?
July.
Oh, I was thinking June
Oh,
29th.
That's when we first did that last year.
But that still leaves us in kind of a lurch because taxes don't come in until September.
Mid-August, whatever, you know.
Right. But then on the other hand, if the stuff isn't even working, maybe they aren't on.
But it's our problem with pH, what they sent over with pH, because remember we talked about maybe get some big tubs of baking soda. It's not that simple.
Anyway, no, we can probably talk to Tom again next week, but this has got to get done before good weather comes in, because my biggest worry is those folks are out there in that area of the town is going to get their assessments, and then there's going to be a lot of board review.
He is sure, he thought it would be done before graduation, because that's what my concern was, is graduation, parties outdoors, we don't want people coming to town and having that.
This whole older thing was supposed to have been done June 30, 2016. And I was outside yesterday and I could smell it. And so it's,
Takes your breath away.
so anyway, on the odor control, that's where it's at. How many engineers?
Real
Yes,
quick
Brendan.
question, is there anything I need to talk to the EDC about, or, I know Jerry's in, I mean,
Well,
That pH thing, Joel, that'll be taken care of. I mean, we get those tanks empty.
well, I asked him this, is there a chemical you can put in there and drop the pH? He said, no, they don't, you don't have any, they gotta wait for a certain amount of good water so they can blend it. But you've got 2 tanks that are full.
Yeah.
We off pump the tanks and then mix it back in.
I
They
told
can
him
blend and stuff, but, you know,
I
I'm
told him
out there every day and I kinda got pretty much just about.
I told him just trickle it onto you, forget us.
No. It's your plan, I'm just running it.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, I mean, this has gotta be taken care of before fine weather this year.
I agree.
You know what, this will be the third year that those folks have to put up with the stench.
I agree.
Just saying.
And it's not an Iowa farm smell, it's bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Brenda, I don't know what we can do. Jerry and I meet with Bill,
I
and
got a
I
meeting
brought
today
these
with him again.
those things up on Friday when we met, and he agreed, yep, we need to do that. And he's evidently talking to whoever he needs to talk to get,
Well, and that's, I guess, if I need to intervene and push, you know, some of the Libertyville. I don't wanna get involved, but if there's something I need to help with, on that end, you know, I know Jerry, you know, you, just Joel, let me know and I'll be glad to, but I,
well, Tom had said it'd be 6 to 8 weeks before this equipment could even
Yeah.
probably get it. And then you've got to install it, which doesn't sound like it'd be very.
Be a quick.
It sounds like BBC's gonna do, they're on board with doing all this.
yeah, and I just, I'm thinking more on the financing end of all of this.
Well, that's the problem.
I know they express the same frustration you all are, it's just, so I just, you know, if there's something I need to help on the money side of it.
Well, they're gonna cut a lot of it out by, they're gonna supply the air in their plant.
Yeah.
So we won't be buying compressors and blowers.
Well, no, the whole older thing was they didn't wanna pay for it unless it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I know.
that's right.
Yeah, so,
And when he asked me for an update on it, I could not, I just told him that, yeah, it's 100%, the stuff's installed. I never said it's working. And it's not, yeah, right, it's pretty obvious it's not, because you can walk by there.
I'd say the outside two scrubbers are, but the one inside,
That's a joke. Why was that ever put inside? Why wasn't it outside?
I don't know.
Anyway, that's my opinion, and I'm not an engineer, so.
I would say boat you are, Joel.
You didn't want
What's
to.
that?
I work. I'm in the same boat you are.
Yeah. All right.
Tom was here last week.
Tom was here, but he called and said he had an appointment and he couldn't make it today, but I really think we need to have a meeting with him and find out what's going on.
I thought that's why I came, I thought he was gonna be here today, but, is Rich, are you talking anything about the Rise Road or anything?
I had, but I didn't know if you heard anything either. So
I hadn't, so today you're,
I'll try to contact
okay.
them and see where they're at.
And then, you said you wanted to get a meeting together with you,
You and Kathy and Bud and Barb and myself,
and maybe somebody from the finance committee from Osage.
so we'll know where all, how we're gonna get them to do anything.
Yeah.
So,
You know, if we could have that meeting sooner than later,
okay.
because we're putting,
Yep, I know.
pulling everything together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you
All right,
guys.
yeah, thanks.
Thanks for your time.
County engineer,
See, there's a topic of ADL,
ADL.
tracking.
Oh, GPS.
GPS.
I think it'd be a great deal.
All right, well, discussion?
My discussion would be, at Falls, it's really nice, because if you've got something, you can track where people are, but I said, I'm not the fish in the fishbowl, I'm the cat watching them, so I think it's great, I just don't know, if the guys understand that if we have a complaint, we can prove where they were, it's to support them, or if they're, you know, if there's a problem on a certain road, and it's actually Mr. Wolf's route, and maybe Mr. Betts is closer, we can just have him swing a mile around. It's for their benefit.